Actually, sorry, I'm going to play the little piece that we got with them last night.
This is the IMRO award-winning Station Today.
WLR 333-975. Law and order in the Philippines has been a difficult thing for many years. There's a man from Cork City. He knows Waterford very well, has very good friends in Waterford. And his name is John O'Neill, and he has been in the Philippines for around 12 years. Billy Costine from Waterford, a lot of people would know him. He has written 2 books about his trips abroad and also his connections with Newcastle, and he got in touch and kept in touch with John because John helped print one of his books. Now, John O'Neill, a very good soccer player, had trials in England with Derby and Leicester City back in the day, as they say. So he ended up living in the Philippines with his partner Frizzell and his son Klovevsky. Over time, he's played music and singing and written a lot of his own songs. He's got CDs, and with the money, he has helped set up a charity called Tomorrow's Children, helping the poor, buying food and clothes for them. Become kind of a provider and giver, says Billy Costine, but his health has deteriorated recently. And then there's the issue of, I suppose, the Philippines and some people in the Filipino government, John believes, don't like criticism. They don't like criticism of the government. Yesterday afternoon, I managed to get in touch with John O'Neill, and I started by asking about the time difference between Waterford and the Philippines.
7 hours, I think, Damien, because you've gone back 1 hour.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so
the island's gone back an hour, yeah?
Yeah.
Good evening, Damien.
Thank you very much for taking the call. The quality of the phone line is not too bad, John, so we'll see how it goes. And this phone call came about because of our mutual friend Billy Costine, who's doing a lot of work on your behalf. Tell me a little bit about yourself. You're living in the Philippines. How long are you there? And what's your family situation?
Poverty in the Philippines. It's a joined up thing. I've been feeding their poor women and children, basically, for 11 years. I raised a load of money through my music firm. They had rice and eggs and bread and cornflakes and God knows what stuff they would never be able to afford. And then, of course, COVID came in and slowed everything down for everybody. Not just for me, for everybody. I went to immigration, I think 2018 perhaps, to ask them when was the next payment, because you pay every 59 days. And they said, John, you are actually done now. And I said, what do you mean by that? You always want peso. And I looked at the guy and I thought, what is he talking about? 1 peso. So I left that situation there. And then when my 9-year-old son and I, we flew from Cebu on the 21st of March to Manila. We was okay with passports from Cebu because we're inside the country, to Manila. Got to Manila, their immigration at the desk said, we've got an issue with you. We think you may owe us some money. I said, well then, I don't think I do. I told all 5 men, I don't think I owe you anything, but how much is it? So they wouldn't tell me. I said, I'm going to Cork City, my hometown, to have treatment to try and stay alive for another year or 2 or whatever, for prostate cancer. I said, why are you stopping me? Why are you stopping me? I ain't done anything wrong in your country. I've not broke no rules. But they said, one of them said, a smart one, he said, did you not report 4 years ago that you were being threatened by the radical Muslims? I said, oh, did you? So I thought, oh my God, I shouldn't have done that. I should have not reported, because you can't do things like that, Damien. In the Philippines, you cannot. 2 chiefs of police told me, 2 different guys, you want to send your child, because he's white, to a school in Pamplona where they live. I says, why? He says, you and him will be kidnapped, took to Mindana, somewhere like that, by the MPA of the Muslims, and your country will have a big, massive bill to pay to keep you alive. And I thought, that really truly shook me up. I kept reading the paper and the kids and clothing and the books and pencils and jotters. I thought, hang on, I've got to get out of here. And perhaps 2 weeks, before COVID hit the world, I was ready to go. I thought, I'll save a few quid together and get the tickets for me, because I'll have my boy Club Sky. COVID started, and COVID actually started 20 miles from me. The 2 Chinese people, a man and a woman, husband and wife. The man died at the airport 20 miles from me. The woman flew to Manila and to China, but I don't know whether she lived or not. I have tried our embassy to tell them, not in a smart way, a clever way, that I am an Irish citizen. I'm not a refugee looking for anything free. I need a bit of help here to to get out for the treatment because they can't treat me here for my cancer.
So
they told me, Chinese surgeon, and they told me to go back to UK. I said, I don't come from UK. I only spent time in UK when I played for Derby County. I said, I don't come from there. I said, I was born and bred in 1951 in Cork. And I said, I don't understand why you're doing this to me. Because I said, if I was that stupid and backward, do you think I'd have brought my son up here, up to this heat of Manila, and give you all passports and leave for treatment and a bit more life for me? I said, that is not true. So the three women at the desk started crying, but the man knew that I had cancer. How he knew, I don't know, because I don't know him. And then the other woman said, John, we know you from your videos and your charity work in the Philippines. We're so sorry, but go back to where you live in Pamplona, contact an attorney, which I did, and I said, oh no, why are they doing this to me, and why won't my embassy, the Irish embassy in Manila, help me? Why won't they help me in my time of need? Because if it was somebody else, I would help them.
And why?
That's how I was raised.
Why won't they help you? Have you been in touch with them?
They told me, a Dublin girl, she was crying in all over the phone when she heard I had the cancer and stuff. She says, John, the Irish government is not funded by the taxpayer to help you or anybody in a similar situation. And I said, look, I emailed your embassy on I think 5 or 6 occasions, still got them. I told you 3 years ago that my life was in trouble here, but I couldn't get out because of COVID and nobody could move. And not once did they refer back to me about the threats from the Muslims. And then, of course, that became the second issue when I got the cancer.
Okay.
Because I thought, my God, I don't want to die.
When were you diagnosed with the prostate cancer? I'm sorry to hear you have it. When were you diagnosed, John?
About 9 weeks ago.
Only 9 weeks ago?
They gave me a tablet.
Only 9 weeks ago, yes?
9 to 10 weeks ago.
Right.
Because they gave me a little white tablet that said, we can't treat you here for that. 2 specialists told me. I said, why not? He says, one is the price. We haven't got that technology that they have in, he said, France and UK and Ireland and America. I said, right, so what are you suggesting? He says, I'm telling you, go back to Ireland and be treated. And he says, you may even get 5 years of life.
Yes.
Are you happy with that? I says, I'm happy with 10 minutes of life because I love life like everybody else.
Yeah. So basically, sorry. Yeah. So just to no, you're fine. Just to summarise on this, so you went to the hospital and the female doctor told you that they haven't got the medical equipment to deal with the prostate cancer there. So basically, you've been sent home and you're now confined to bed. You made arrangements to come home to Ireland to go to Cork. You got flight tickets for yourself and your son. Your partner then was going to follow you at a later date. You were stopped at the airport.
Correct.
And the authorities say you owed monies due to 5 years of COVID lockdown. You say you don't owe them a penny, but your life has been threatened. And how much money did they say that you owe, John?
They wouldn't tell me, Damien. They would not tell me. I may have asked 4 times, perhaps, and they would not tell me. But in fairness, I have to say this, the four women that were behind the desk on the side, they gave my son cookies and candy, and they were crying and said, Mr. Sonny, are you okay? I said, Ma'am, I am not okay. I am not okay. The other lady said, aren't you the guy in the videos that feeds? I said, I am, but I'm not doing it for that. I don't want big publicity for that.
Okay.
I don't like to see people in poverty.
But I'm a little bit confused. Just summarise again. Are they stopping you from going? Like, are they not allowing you to leave the country?
No, they said to look into it, it will take 6 months. And I said,
to look into what?
Jesus in heaven, stop.
To look into what?
To look into, do I owe them immigration fees?
Okay.
And I said, well,
immigration
fees.
Yeah. So they're not. So are they physically not allowing you to leave the country? Is that it?
Yes. When I go to immigration with my son, they looked at the passport. Mine was renewed, I think, in 2018, perhaps, I think. I sent the other one to the Irish Embassy in Dublin so they could cut her up and nobody could copy it and like illegal immigrants and things. And I told them that. And then my son has also got an Irish passport. Even though he was born in the Philippines, he's got an Irish passport. And they looked at the 2 passports but not so much at him, but it's me to say, we're going to look into this. It'll take us 6 months.
Okay.
And I told him, I said, I won't be alive in 6 months if you don't let me for the treatment.
So they can actually not let you leave a country. You need to have a special exit visa to leave the Philippines. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is absolutely correct.
And they won't give you this, and they say you owe money. They won't tell you how much money they owe. They say it'll take 6 months. 6 months. You don't have that time. God forbid you could be dead within 6 weeks.
No.
We don't know. I don't know what your diagnosis is, but I've seen a picture of you, and you're very, very thin, and you're very unwell at the minute. And you're appealing for politicians in Ireland. Yeah, you're appealing for politicians in Ireland to basically look at your case. We'll send this link up to the department as well of Foreign Affairs, but like for them to look at this case and to arrange to help, like you'd presume that they'd have contacts within the Filipino government that they could sort this out within a day.
Well, the Filipino ambassador, Eric Gonzalez, I think, in Dublin, he rung me once and emailed me 3 times, and he said, John, ring your embassy in. I said, I've already done that perhaps on 5 occasions. He said, why won't they help you? And this is the Filipino ambassador. I said, sir, I do not know why. I said, I paid my taxes when I lived in Ireland. I'm not a criminal, I'm not a bad man, and I can't understand where it's coming from, why they're saying that. And it's no good me misunderstanding what they said, or whether they're right or wrong. I know, and I know they're wrong. It's detrimental to me, Damien, because I am desperate to get to Cork to the Mercy Hospital and give me a bit more life. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, get some treatment. Absolutely. No, I understand. Yeah, and like have you ever been in trouble with the Filipino government before or anything like that?
Oh no, never in my life.
Nothing whatsoever.
Never,
okay.
Never. They know who I am, but countries that have got a big time property, they don't like you in there.
Yeah.
Because you're putting it up on videos that they are neglecting their own people. And I realised that after 2 years, perhaps in 2013, 2014, I thought, I've got to watch what I'm doing here. And I tried to leave once in 15, I think it was. And I couldn't leave when I seen the children. It was the rainy season. They had no clothes, no socks. I thought, my Jesus, they're going to have to help them. And the only way I could help them was through my music, because I'm a musician.
Yes.
And I made a hell of a lot of money in Sweden and Norway and Ireland. They bought like my DVD, for $3 US, and it fed a lot of people, a hell of a lot of people.
Yeah.
But now my life has come to a stop, and obviously I think it's very, very unfair the game they're playing with me.
Okay.
Because anybody can negotiate anything. I told them, if I owe you any money, if I owe you 1 peso or 1 shilling, I will pay every single bit back.
Yeah. And as you say,
that's
the charity,
I told them.
And I've seen the videos. It's on Tomorrow's Charity is the name of the charity, and on the website.
Yeah.
John, I'm going to let you go. What we'll do is we'll send an email up to the Department of Foreign Affairs, and I'll contact Billy Costine as well, and we'll just see what the story is, and I'll come back to you hopefully by the end of the week. Is that okay?
That's brilliant, because your friend Billy Costine, he's a great waterwood man. He's put me on the donation thing and GoFundMe, and I looked this morning after I'd been up 3 hours or whatever, and there was €670 in it. I nearly fell off the stool. I thought, oh my God, so there are people in Ireland that care about me, because I'm also Irish. I may speak a little bit different, but that's from college.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, I could never, ever pay that Billy. Billy Costine is my savior, he's my angel. He's helped me so much. He's gave me confidence when I've been down. And I'm just hoping now that somebody like you who's in the public domain, Damien, that you can help me in any way. Because, like I said, I am not a bad person. I don't owe people money, I don't owe them this and that. Yeah. That's never happened to me.
Okay, well what we'll do is, as I say, we'll get it going there now and see what the story is, and I'll definitely give you a shout back later in the week, and I'll send you an email.